Hello, welcome back to my channel. Nick is with me again today, and Liverpool is out of Champions League. I think we'll start off with Champions League because that's the best to talk about. We are out of Champions League already, Man City. Club Brugge is virtually out of Champions League. I was actually surprised watching that. Like, I didn't watch the first leg. I was surprised watching the second leg, how terrible finishing was from PSG. Because they could have been
Yeah,
3-0 up. They could have been 3
yeah.
0 up.
That was the thing. You look at the XG overall. I think I mentioned it a few times as well. I think they had like 5 XG. We had all but 2. So you could say, oh, Liverpool got absolutely dominated. PSG had so many chances. Yes, they did, but they scored all but 1 chance, and their 1 goal came from what some have dubbed a defensive error, a mishap, with communication in the back. But it was just 1 goal that was scored. So a case of terrible finishing, good chance creation. Yeah, I don't know how you would, if you're a PSG fan, obviously you don't give a shit. You think, yeah, we won the game, who cares? But I'd be looking at that saying, bro, the finishing is crap. If they had better finishing, they would have pounced us in the first leg, and we'd just be having a dead
Yeah, I
rubber right
didn't
now.
watch
Would
the
have played a
first
whole
leg.
changed team, bro.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch the first leg, but I heard a lot of people say that. I didn't even bother watching the highlights, to be honest. But I heard a lot of people saying, yeah, they can't finish in the first leg either. And like, I mean, I look at, for example, as well, it's not just chance creation. Third chance creation sucked. I look at a moment with Ousmane Dembele was running down the net, pockets of space, long ball over the top to him. He would have been in, scored a goal. They just
Yep.
walk the ball forwards, like they don't even see him. It's not good chance creation. It's just, honestly, Premier League is not that good. Because Liverpool is the best in the Premier League. Man City, okay, we're not the best in Premier League this season, but we're still Man City. We were woeful against Real Madrid. You were bad against PSG. I don't think PSG was that good, to be honest. Premier League is just not that good this season, if I'm being honest.
Do you think maybe other clubs in Europe are probably better suited to the Champions League than what English clubs are? Because you've got Aston Villa, like they're playing Il Bruges in the morning now, and they're up 3-1. So unless Villa, concede 2 goals and then he goes to extra time or something, I think Villa at home should be good enough to at least score another goal and pretty much finish that game there. But if it's not for Villa and Arsenal playing against PSV, they're pretty much done through now as well. They'll take on Atletico or Real Madrid, one or the other. We could see no English teams in the semi-final after that. They could both get knocked out in the quarters.
Absolutely. And they probably will because sorry, Cedric, inshallah. We probably will because if I'm being honest, I look at Club Brugge right now, and this is the thing we did right before the playoffs last season, where we just bottle games away. We just throw games away. We have dropped a lot of points recently in just stupid fashions, really. And Genk is doing the same, by the way, with only like if Genk drop points now and they're playing a big game, and we win out the game, you go into the playoffs only 4 points behind. So you play each team twice in the playoffs. So and we have better goal difference. So like I'm looking right now at Genk and at Club Brugge, and I'm like, we're both just dropping points and losing games in such terrible ways. And Aston Villa hasn't, like, I feel like Aston Villa is just doing the same thing that I saw Antwerp do against us. And Antwerp is no good team. So it's not that, like, Antwerp would not be in the round of 16 of Champions League. Like, I'm not trying to take it away from Aston Villa. Obviously, they beat us, but I think beating us now that we're in a dip of form, it's not as big an accomplishment as beating PSG. And that's what you're not doing right now, or the Premier League teams aren't doing right now. I think Premier League in general is just very weak at the moment. I think Aston Villa will get destroyed against PSG. PSG will probably miss a bunch of chances again, but I think Aston Villa will lose. And Arsenal,
Maybe.
if they play Atletico Madrid, they have probably better chances against Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid, just style-wise, Arsenal cannot handle that, because the style from Atletico Madrid is pretty much Arsenal football, but better in every way. It's not, if you're like playing against someone in a completely different style than you can always get lucky. But if it's two
Yeah,
teams
yeah,
who
it's
play the same
different.
style of
Correct. The
football,
same style. Yeah, it's a dead rubber. Yeah, you're pretty much
Yeah.
at a stalemate. That's why it makes it very different. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Contrasting styles. Like if you're both trying to play blitzing football, you're probably both going to, you know, the game's going to get stretched out. You're going to overrun one another. Yeah, there might be lots of goals in there, but it becomes a chaotic game. Whereas if you're a very attacking team and one's a very defensive team, then it's a game of chess. The defensive team versus the attacking team. Who can stop? Can the defensive team stop the attacking team and get something on a counterattack or in a transition? Or can the attacking team get past this defensive block? And they're the interesting games. That's why when the Atletico Madrid play against open teams, people say this is going to be an interesting game because Atletico are going to come there, going to stink fest their way through a shit house all the way through, just play low block defensive football and just hope for something on a counter attack. And that's what a lot of people why a lot of people say if you really want to test yourself against a team that defends deep, where you can't do anything on the ball and see how good you are really.
Yeah, and Arsenal, whenever they come up against a team like that, they don't win. Like West Ham is nowhere near as defensive as Atletico Madrid, but West Ham, they completely shut down everything from Arsenal. Like without Saka, I feel like they just have nothing going for them. No creativity, no nothing really. I feel like it's just watching some it's just such dead football, Arsenal. I hate watching them. They just pass the ball in a U-shape constantly. And Man City does the same thing. It's just U-shaped football, and
Horseshoe
it goes
football,
nowhere.
as they say.
Yeah,
Horseshoe football, as they say. Yeah, just going from side to side, back again. Yeah,
it's
nothing
so
doing.
dead to watch. I hate watching Man City this season. Watching Arsenal, it's like watching Man City, but worse. And the only reason why Arsenal isn't below Man City is because we went 1-14, which is quite tragic.
Thing is, in club competitions and knockout games as well, it's not so much the style how you play. Like I said, I said it months ago. I said, give me 1-0 shit stinkfest, 1-0 wins all the way through to the end of the season, and I'm happy with that. As long as you win our games. But yeah, other teams can't do that. That's right. It's just not within them. Like you can't, stinkfest your way through a whole 90 minutes every time. Sometimes you have to play your football. You have to blitz. You have to attack. You do this. You got to do that. So everyone's got their different styles. Sometimes it's out of necessity because of what you've got available, what you have at your disposal. If you don't have your wingers, you can't play expensive football with your wingers. If you don't have a striker, you can't be putting crosses into the box expecting your striker to score goals. Like if Haaland isn't playing for you guys, you can't be putting crosses into the box. You have to find another way, play a false nine or add another person in the midfield or something. You know what I mean? Like you have to adapt. And if you're just going one style of play, and if it doesn't work, there's no plan B, then you could find yourself stuck in a way.
Obviously, but here's the thing. Even with Saka, and if you consider him a striker, Havertz, Arsenal was not playing that well. I just think that losing Saka, you know what they lost when they lost Saka? It's goals. That's what they lost. They weren't playing better, but they lost a lot of output. And now they just can't get a goal. They got 7 against PSV. Okay, I'm sorry, PSV has been woeful recently. They used to be 8 points up clear in Eredivisie. Now they're 8 points behind.
Yeah, that swing is crazy, man. I remember we spoke about it last week. That is a crazy swing. How do you go from being 8 clear to being 8 behind? Like that's a 16-point swing, bro. You lost 8, they gained 8. That's crazy.
That's like you can say, okay, we scored 7 against that, but honestly, that's not that. Like it is impressive. It's always impressive to score against 7 against a team. But are you going to do it against Real Madrid? No, you're not. Like, let's be honest. Those Arsenal attackers run at a Real Madrid defender. They're going to get shut down. Imagine Mourinho trying to run at Rudiger. He's going to get bullied.
Nah, no chance. No way.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, bro.
Mourinho is going to get bullied if he runs against Rudiger. He's not going to get anything. And
well, I mean, Marina did play against Real Madrid and Atletico when he was at Real Sociedad, so maybe you might say he's got a little bit of experience there. But at the same time, is it going to be enough to get them through that tie? Because look, they're going through it. PSV are not scoring 6 goals, and Arsenal are not scoring 1 goal. Like Arsenal probably score another 1 or 2 more goals, and then that's pretty much it. It's done. Rotate half your team, and then be done with it. You know what I mean?
I think they might just play the academy and lose like 3-0, but like obviously that's still true. They'll probably just roll out the academy kids. Because they need to focus on Premier League as well. They're dropping a lot of points in Premier League. If they don't want to drop out of top 4,
Well, I mean, not to deviate too far, but Chelsea on the weekend now for them, so definitely need to win that game. And Chelsea's not in any good form themselves, like struggling to win their games. But it's going back to the Champions League talk there. So like obviously you guys got knocked out by Real Madrid. Obviously, United still have Europa to play for. Tottenham still have Europa to play for. Chelsea got a
Aren't they
conference.
losing right now against Sociedad on an aggregate, or is it a draw?
Well, it's 1-1 at the moment, so it's possible that Sociedad bag a goal away from home at Old Trafford. We'll see how that goes there. But more so, I'm thinking of the teams themselves, because if they're chasing top four finishes and whatnot, it's going to be key. But what would you rather have, a top four finish or try and finish with a trophy? That's what I'd be looking at. Some will say I want both, but you have to pick one. What's going to be more beneficial for you? That's why I say, like, it sucks we're out of the Champions League. Obviously, I want to win it. I want to win everything that we're in. But because we have a Premier League pretty much done and dusted, and a League Cup final to play for, which is no guarantee we win that makes it a little bit easier, if you will. It sort of like eases the pain. But if you don't have anything really to go for, then all your eggs are in that one basket. United don't have top four. Spurs don't have the top four to go for, though. But Chelsea do. Arsenal have to secure a top four position. You guys only have an FA Cup to play for, which you can still win yet. And you just try and focus on
That
what you
FA
actually
Cup,
have
by the way,
available.
people are treating that like we've already won it. We already lost to Bournemouth at Vitality. We've already lost to Aston Villa this season. Like, people are treating that FA Cup like we've already won it, which is very weird. Like, have you forgotten to 1 win in 14? I don't know why Man City fans are so confident right now. I said in my Nottingham Forest preview, prove to me that this is like the new Man City. Beat Nottingham Forest convincingly. We didn't. I don't see how anyone can have chest for that FA Cup. Not saying we won't win it, but honestly, we're not out as good as everyone else.
It's something to hold on to. That's what I'm saying. It's something to hold on to. That's what it is. If you didn't have an FA Cup, you'd just be focusing on the top four finish, get back in the Champions League, and rebuild the squad, and then start again next season for you guys. That's where I'd be looking at it from there. Because if you didn't have anything, like Arsenal still have a Champions League, slim, if not like 1% chance of a Premier League right now. And that's pretty much it. So they will try and focus on a Champions League. And look, there is a chance, there is a possibility that they do make it to a semi-final or a final, shall we say. But it's going to be a very, very difficult one. I don't know if they're going to get past around Madrid, 2 legs away at the Bernabeu and then at the Emirates, or if it's Atletico Madrid. I mean, shit, even PSG, like if they have to take on a PSG, for example, in the semi-final, bro, that would be interesting too, because you never know. They might do a La Remontada. But because Arsenal already beat PSG at the start of the season not in the group league stage, whatever. And like Arsenal fans were saying, like, oh, beating PSG isn't for everybody. It's like, but they played a PSG that wasn't in the best of form. Bayern Munich beat them. Arsenal beat them. They weren't really the PSG now. They've only really kicked into gear in the last 2-3 months now.
And I feel like we've said this. I feel like we've been talking about this in the last 5 seasons in the Premier League. We want to kick into first gear at the end of the season, not at the start.
Correct.
I feel like we've been saying that for so long now, but so many people still don't get it. If you start the season off strong, you're going to fade away. You can't keep up that rhythm for the full season. Let's be honest, Centurions and for Midwolves and the Liverpool team that got 97 points, those are not normal. That happened 3 times in a row, so people think that's normal. That is not normal. We are never seeing that 3 times in a row again. We might not ever see someone get Centurion again. These are not normal ways to play a whole season. And when you look at those teams that I just talked about, Liverpool was bad in the Cups that season. Got to the Carabao Cup semi-final, had to weird stuff at the Club World Cup, but Champions League, FA Cup, Liverpool wasn't that good when they won the Premier League. Man City is notoriously underperforming in Champions League in both of those seasons. So when we talk about teams getting monstrous points, being full geared all season, they tend to do worse elsewhere. So it's not like Man City against Wigan, FA Cup. That's a horror.
Yeah, I remember that. a one-off game. It's a one-off game, bro. You just don't know what could happen. A one-off games.
So you can't keep that up all season. If you look at how Man City won the treble, Man City won the treble despite being bad in the first half of the season. Well, maybe not bad, but like not as good. And in the second half of the season, we just stopped losing. I don't think we lost a single game in the second half of the season, which is insane. I might have
went on that mad 15-game run.
Yeah.
It was just like win after win after win. I remember that. Yeah.
And
yeah, shit like that doesn't happen often.
If you do that in the first half of the season, you'll be tired. George players will be done by the second half of the season. That's why Hansi Flick had his dip middle of the season, had to rotate everyone, and now it's playing a lot more conservatively. Because he realized, if I keep playing like this, my players will burn out. You can't keep that up a whole season. Arsenal started off strong. Thank God injuries, so got a bit weaker, but started off relatively strong and just faded away. They keep doing it, keep making the same mistake. Now, injuries do make them a bit unlucky, but still, it's spoiled by Arsenal management, really, if I'm being honest. Newcastle is winning the Carabao Cup, says Dosfield. Liverpool aren't a cup team this season.
Yeah, normally we're better in the cups, but like people say, like Klopp football was good for cups. Slot football is good for leagues to sustain something over a longer period of time. I think that maybe sounds accurate because Klopp would get you to a cup. We won more cups than we did leagues with Klopp because I think that was the football that was good. One-off games or over 2 legs, play a certain style of football, you can manage that. But to play like high intensity for game week after week after week, it's hard to do. You have to reserve, even like you guys, like yes, you steamroll teams, but it'd be like 1-0 or 1-1 for like 80 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes is just like, and it finishes like 3-1 or 4-1 in your favor. Like you can't just go gung-ho half the time.
Or it's the other way around, where we start off really good, get 3 goals, and then just play the game out. Just pass the ball around and they don't touch it anymore.
And just waste time, just kill time. Yeah, exactly. Like there are those situations as well. That's why it's like, you got knocked out. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we got knocked out. Obviously, there are reasons to it. It's not just simple of, oh, you're shit. Like clearly we got outplayed overall. The better chances fell PSG's way, much like the better chances fell Real Madrid's way when you guys played them. You know what I mean? Like you guys outplayed. 1 chance, 1 goal at the end. The game is on a knife edge, and then bang, it ends up becoming what was it? 2-1 or was it 3-2 in the first leg? I can't remember.
Real Madrid, 2-3 Real Madrid.
Yeah, so I mean, like last minute, like that. Like 1 chance, bang, it ends up becoming a goal. So you can't really judge these things half the time. You just don't know. But you play a league consecutively, there is a style of play, there is a way to play, and you can adapt in a league. In a cup, either defend deep and then try hit a counterattack, or you just try blitz from the start, and then, as you said, just pass the ball around and just waste time.
It's Salah Ballon d'Or done. I think there's everywhere.
Oh yeah. Now. Yeah, no, I think so. I think that the Champions League was hinging on the Champions League, which is probably, and a lot of people want to make out like, oh, he was crying because it's his last season and whatnot. I don't know that for sure. Nobody knows. Everyone's speculating. I think he's genuinely upset. I think he's genuinely upset that we got crashed out, because he's probably thinking, look at the season I'm having now. Even if they made it to a final, at least it probably would have been it, and it probably was his only chance to maybe win a Ballon d'Or. Now everyone's saying Rafinha, if Barca make it all the way through, they win La Liga and they win a Champions League.
Like if let's say PSG win the Champions League, are they going to give it to Dembele? Who are they going to give it to in that PSG team?
I don't think so. I don't think Dembele would get it, man. He's only been like really standing up
for the last. Griezmann? Actually, they might give it to Griezmann, to be honest, if Atletico wanted to win it. But
if Atletico Madrid win it, whoever wins the Champions League, I think. But then, do they have to win their league as well? Because if Atletico lose out to Barca in La Liga, but they win the Champions League, let's say, which one's going to have more weight? Champions League has more weight, in my opinion. So they might sway towards a Griezmann, perhaps, if it's
Champions League has more weight. But let's say Salah breaks Haaland's record this season. That also has a lot of weight.
That's why I'm thinking, like, I think a lot of people are hinging on Salah with the Champions League, but if he still has a mad season and gets like 30 goals and 20 plus assists, whatever it is, breaks 50 GA, whatever the record is, I think there is still a fair share. Yeah, if he gets 50, there is a big shout for like having like a standout season.
24 goals, I believe.
24 and 17, I think, or 25 and 17.
That's
So there's
not-
still like 9 games left. He can get 3 assists in 9 games, you would think. Goals already there,
Let's
so
hope
it just
he can.
depends on him. Yeah, so
Let's check Salah
depends
here
on him.
quickly. Only 3
Depends
goals
on
and
him.
4 assists in Champions League, by the way. Like, only, but like, if you
Yeah.
compare that to his Premier League statistics. So in the
Mm.
Premier League, he's got 27 goals and 17 assists, which gets him to 44 GA. So you'd expect him to get 6 GA in the remaining
Yeah.
9 games.
Well, if our other forwards or midfielders can actually hit the back of the net from his passes, then yes, you would bloody well hope so.
Well, I can say that about De Bruyne as well. De Bruyne in his prime, bro. Look at Sterling, bro. Sterling was granted a career on a silver platter by De Bruyne because he was never that good. Let's be honest. He scored 20 goals in a single season, didn't he?
But you still need someone to put those away. Like last season, Salah, chance after chance after chance, Darwin missed, Jota missed, Diaz missed. This season's been a little bit better. You still need your forwards or whoever it is that's going to be assisting to be putting the balls
you
in.
know what the thing is, yeah? Sterling used to miss those chances as well, but Man City just kept giving him those chances.
Yep.
And that's what Salah is doing right now with Darwin Núñez. He keeps missing, but you just keep feeding him. He'll score eventually.
Well, you would hope so. That's the plan. You would hope that he would. That's all you can ask for. But at one point, then you stop believing that I'm going to keep bagging these goals? Like, do you think I keep getting chance after chance after chance I'm going to miss, or is it chance after chance and I'm going to bag one eventually? Because I'd rather I'm going to bag one eventually instead of saying like I'm going to keep missing.
Well, I did play striker when I was younger, and when I missed chances, which I did miss a few chances. What I tried to do was make the goal harder to score. I tried to score a harder goal. The reason being that if you miss easy chances, it gets to your mind, I'm missing easy chances. So what I did is if I got a tap in, I tried to put it top bins for no reason. Because if I miss, I tried to do something ridiculous. If I score,
I know what you mean.
It's confidence boost. And that way, I helped myself get confidence back. I'm not sure if Darwin Núñez thinks the same, but he does score a few bangers, to be fair, but and a lot of late goals as well. But
I think scores harder chances.
I think you have to manage your confidence. So I think you have to manage your confidence. That's the important thing for Núñez, and he's been marginally better this season, but still, I would expect for the price he came in on as well for him to score more.
100%. That's all we want. He needs to be bagging more goals, man. That's what it is for me. Cool. If he was doing what he's doing now, but doing it in every 3 games, I would say fair enough. At least you're giving us something in return. Doing it once every 9 or 10 games, it's not enough. It's not enough for us. Yeah, he'd score in a league cup game. He's scoring in a Premier League game here and there. I think he scored in the Champions League as well, 1 or 2 games, but it's not consistent enough. We need more consistency from him. But then again, Jota doesn't seem to be the same player this season either as well. And there's murmurs that maybe he might be looking to be moved on as well in the summer as well because of his age and his injury record too. So
how old is Jota now?
I think he's 27, 28. So he's not old, but he's not. He's not.
Well, he's coming into his prime now. He's coming into his prime. Do you want to fuck him out now?
I would keep him, to be honest. Even keep him take him on off the bench because he's a great finisher. But how often do you want to keep him? And how often are you going to play him as well? That's the question mark. If you're going to be playing him often, fair enough. But if you're going to be keeping
who do you want at Liverpool right now, a striker? Because I do think you need a striker, a proper striker.
100%. I don't even know, man. I don't even know who striker would be out there or anything like that. I'm just looking and just getting some players in there and just making sure that we stack up.
If you want, you can take Gustav Nielsen off our hands.
No, no, thank you. I don't know. A lot of people but see, this is the thing. I don't really see strikers that stand out for me. Isak is the one that's being talked about right now. Gyökeres is another one being talked about right now. Apart from that, I don't see anyone else out there.
Template I've liked this season in Bundesliga. There's been a few decent strikers, but not a lot. Mason Greenwood, if you're ready for some controversy.
Nah, even him a former Menk.
What's the Arsenal guy called? That's scored 3 hat-tricks in 10 games?
Oh, Gabriel Jesus.
No.
Oh, the
The
Arsenal
guy that
guy.
Arsenal fucked off for 3 million, and now he scored 3 hat-tricks in 5 or in 10 games or something like that. I forgot
Perez
his name.
for PS. No, I don't know who they
No,
got rid
Arsenal
of.
had a player, and they sold him to Sturmgras for 4 million, I believe. And now he's in League 1, and he scored 3 hat-tricks in 10 games.
Damn.
I forgot his name. I need to look this up after the stream.
I don't know
Nick,
about that either, man. I don't know.
you've seen the Bruges derby fallout? Jet asks.
The what chat? What is it?
The Bruges derby fallout.
What did I miss?
Bruges derby went wild after the game, bro. So, the Bruges derby, there's a tradition in the Bruges derby that the winner grabs the flag of their team and puts it in the middle of the pitch. So, Club Bruges won 1-3. And for this team, by the way, Cercle Bruges has won 1 derby in the past 12 years. We played 2 to 4 times a season against each other. We plant the flag in the middle of the pitch. Goalkeeper from Cercle Bruges runs down, kicks the flag away, tries to fight with Yashari. Fans are throwing beer at the players. A scarf was put on fire by a Club Brugge fan. Like proper riot. It was like seconds away from dissolving into a riot, I can't lie. And then all the players had to be brought off the pitch. Club Brugge normally goes to the fans and does like the super Bruges thing. Like we go to the fans, we shout, we are Bruges, and we didn't get to do that. We had to get fucked off the pitch.
Wow.
Just dissolved. And it all started with that goalkeeper kicking the flag away, which makes no sense. You've not won a derby in like 1 win in 12 years in the derby, and you're acting like it's a surprise you lost. Like, calm down, bro. It wasn't even anything controversial. Like, we scored 3 goals by cutbacks because they can't defend. We just walked through them.
So is that the one where it says like Bruges Ardon Jassari tries to stick the Club Brugge flag in the middle of the pitch?
Yeah. It's like to stick the flag in the middle of the pitch.
Speaking of, apparently Hakimi did that. He took the PSG Ultras flag and put it in the middle of the Anfield pitch after the PSG game. That's cheeky. That's cheeky.
Yeah.
There it is. I've seen a picture now. He's running middle of the pitch and he's stuck in the middle. Yep, they took the flag. I see they're kicking it. They're stomping it. Yeah, pushing, shoving around. Yeah, it's mad disrespectful. But hey, that's a part of football culture, unfortunately, man.
That's not even football culture, though, because it's tradition that we call planned out flag. To win, it always does that. It's tradition, so that's not even football culture.
Yeah.
That's just one guy having head loss for some reason. He's not even a good goalkeeper, bro. Like, why do you think you concede so many goals, bro? You suck. Your ball handling is awful. Like, the amount of times that guy gets a shot straight at him and he gives the ball away again. Like, he should have the ball in his hands, but he, like, slapped it away or something. His handling is awful. But anyhow, on to the Premier League, maybe, to end it off on. Top 4 race is heating up, I guess. Arsenal.
It's the most exciting thing in the Premier League.
Yeah, the rest of the Premier League is dead, isn't it? Arsenal.
Yeah, the 4th to 10th is where it's at right now. Or second, I should say.
The bottom half of the table. So I generally think Wolves got to lose every game to the end of the season and still survive relegation. Like, that's how bad the teams below them are. Ipswich Town has 3 wins all season. 3 wins all season. That's tragic, isn't it?
Bro, 3 wins all season. Look at Southampton as well. They're on 9 points. They're on track to be the worst Premier League team ever, points-wise, I think.
What is the worst Premier League team ever, points-wise? Is it West Brom?
I don't know.
Probably West Brom, right?
Yes. Worst Premier League team season ever. 2007-2008, Derby County. They ended up on 11 points. Wow.
How can you be that bad? 11 points.
Bro, if they don't bag another win this season, or at least get 2 draws or 3 draws out of this, all they need is like 1 win, and then they'll escape that. They just need to finish on at least 12 points, and they won't be the worst Premier League side ever.
Who are
but they're
their
just so
games
bad
then?
at the
Let me
moment.
check. So their next game is against Wolves, then Crystal Palace, then Tottenham, then Aston Villa, West Ham, Fulham, Leicester. They can beat Leicester. Then Man City, they can beat us. Everton and Arsenal. They can beat Man City, Arsenal, and Leicester, is fair to say.
Leicester, maybe.
Yeah, I
Because
think they can beat
they're
Leicester.
crap as well. I think they're crap as well. Leicester are just a rubbish
They
team,
can
but
at
Leicester
least
and
get off two
Ipswich.
shots.
Well, they're on the same points tally. Leicester got to play United next. Ipswich got to play Forest, and Southampton got to play Wolves. So if Wolves get the win there, then that'll take them up to 26. They're still 10 points behind West Ham in 16th.
Yes.
And then West Ham got to play Everton, so there's points to be won there to leap the other one because there are equal points. But then you've got this is the maddest part. You've got West Ham and Everton on 33 points. You've got United and Spurs on 34 points. Then you've got Brentford on 38, Palace on 39, and then Fulham in 10th on 42. And then from 10th all the way up to like 4th, there's
only a 7 points difference.
Yeah, that's not much in there, man. There's not much in there at all. And a lot of the teams have to face each other. Brighton have to play you guys. Brentford have to play Newcastle. Brighton,
By the way,
Villa have to play Brighton as well.
If Brighton beat us, they go above us. So if Brighton beat us, let's say Newcastle have a draw. Let's say Newcastle draw, Chelsea draw, and Brighton beat us, we will be down in 7th.
Yeah, but Newcastle won't play this week because of the League Cup. Their next game will be, I think, in like over a week or something, like next weekend, I think it is.
No, it's international break.
International break. All right, so it'll be well after that. So it'll be in between all that. Yeah, so it'll be a while until they're back in action again.
Yeah. But by the way, question. Erling Haaland, his 20 goals this season with this woeful Man City team, is that better than his 36 goals in the treble season?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Those questions like, how are you as a player when your team's not performing well, or when you're not at your best, as opposed to when you are, and you have everything going your way. It's mad, and he's been out for a while as well. He was injured for a bit, so he wasn't really at the races. Yeah, 36 without 36 with a good squad, but then again, half the team has been in and out as well. Do you think I don't know if it's fair to say Pep's changed him, but do you think he's become more of a system player at City? If he doesn't get service, he doesn't score goals. Therefore, you can't really judge him for the player he's been this season because he hasn't been getting the deliveries.
Absolutely, because he had 0 touches in the box against Nottingham Forest. 0 touches in the box. 3 touches.
Yeah, I saw that. He had a bad
half.
game. He had a stinker game that game. He was getting frustrated big time.
Yeah, but you know how Haaland needs to get. You know how Haaland gets a chance to touch the ball. He drops down. He drops down into midfield, and he doesn't like that. He is.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Pep this season,
because your wingers will cut in and look for a cross into the box, and that's where you need Haaland there to score. Tap in, header, touch, turn, whatever it is. If he's running deep like Harry Kane, he'd run deep. I'm not getting on the ball. Let me run deep. Let me get the ball. Pass out. By the time the pass goes out there, the cross is in the box. He's not in the box. He's not going to crash the box.
The problem is Haaland is actually our best forward passer. Like, not even joking, he's our best forward passer. The ball doesn't move forwards if Haaland doesn't move it forwards. That's tragic, isn't it? Like, if Marmoush is on that pitch, that helps. But Marmoush wasn't on the pitch. So that's the problem. Haaland is the only one who gets us forward. Like, passing-wise, he's better than Foden this season. Not in general, but this season, he's been better than Foden.
Player like heaps of players have been better than Foden this season. Let's be real, bro.
Well, that's true, but like it just shows it's not Haaland's job to do this, but he is doing it anyways because no one else is. And you can say, well, he needs to be in the box. He can't be in the box and in midfield at the same time. He has to be in midfield because we can't get forwards without him, but he has to be in the box because we can't score without him in the box. We're just too reliant on a player who is often criticized as being only a goal scorer, which is just not true, in my opinion. Big up, by the way, Luke. He recently had 1,000 subscribers over that All in My Lifetime podcast, so big up to him.
Nice. Big ups.
Big up. So, yeah, Haaland, I think we're just way too reliant on him, man. Like this, we lacked him against Real Madrid, and we could not hold on to the ball for 5 seconds. just Haaland's gravity makes us better in midfield. Like forget Haaland doing anything. Just the fact that he is on that pitch makes us better. And I look at Newcastle.
He's a presence. He's a presence. He's a presence.
I look at that Newcastle game, the hat-trick from Omar Marmoush. If Aguero is on that pitch, Omar Marmoush does not score the hat-trick. And here is why. First goal, Haaland is down the middle of the pitch. Long ball from Ederson. 2 defenders on Haaland. Omar Marmoush is free. If Aguero is on the pitch, they have 1 defender on Aguero, 1 defender on Marmoush. Marmoush goes down, scores his goal. Second goal. Why is Marmoush in space right on the edge of the box? Because Haaland made a run to the far post and our defender followed him when he should have been on Marmoush. So Marmoush has time to take a shot. Third goal. Haaland makes a run to the far post. Marmoush is not marked anymore because 2 defenders are following Haaland. Cut back from Savinho, Omar Marmoush scores. All 3 of those Marmoush goals happen because of Haaland's movement of the ball. And people don't give enough credit for that. But that's why I laugh when people say Aguero is a better footballer than Haaland. Maybe in 5-a-side, but football isn't played 5-a-side. The thing is, Haaland is absolutely carrying us this season. We will not be top 5 without Haaland. Replace Erling Haaland with the best version of Sergio Aguero, and I love Aguero, but because Aguero is such a good striker, he's such a good example to use here. As good a striker as Sergio Aguero is, he could not replicate the job that Haaland has done this season. He simply couldn't.
No, it's a different play. It's a different play altogether, man. Aguero would try and take on a player. Haaland, this is why when Haaland's just a tap-in merchant or he's a robot, because cross comes in, header, bang. Cross comes in, hit, bang. That's literally his job. So you can't fault him for doing what he's told to do. So when people say he's not as good as a footballer as Harry Kane, I understand that, but we're not talking about the goal scorer. We're talking about the footballer himself because, who was it? We've seen strikers in the past in the Premier League. I'm sure you've seen them in the Belgian league and all over Europe as well. All they're good for is just tap-ins. Just cross in, hit, bang, goal, for example. That's their job. That's all they're meant to do. So I don't know why we're going to be sitting there saying, they're not techie players. They're rubbish. They're not real footballers, this and that. It's in an objective sense, you can say there are better footballers than the strikers that bag the goals. But at the same time, are those better footballers able to score the goals that these players are scoring? So you can't just say he's a shit footballer because all he does is score tap-ins. There's a reason for that.
Absolutely.
Unless he is just a shit footballer and all they can do is score tap-ins, in which case then use the strengths that they have.
Yeah, but that's not true for Haaland because, again, he's been moving us forwards this season. He's not as good as Aguero, dribbling-wise. Absolutely not. But passing,
yeah, correct.
His passing is not that far away from Aguero's level. If you look at, I just feel like people don't give credit for Haaland's passes. He pulls off key passes in 17 touches so often. His passing is so underrated. I think he's not the most underrated passer, but I think he's very underrated passing-wise. And I don't understand why people don't give him credit for that, because I just look at some of Erling Haaland's passes. Against Newcastle, by the way, he also put in some good passes there. Nottingham Forest, he put in some good passes. And people never give him credit for that. People talk about Erling Haaland as such a good player when he scores goals. But then they're like, he's a terrible player when he doesn't score goals. Even if he does do the passing that he otherwise does. It's Haaland is only a goal scorer. People think about him only that way. Which is partially to blame on how Pep uses him. He touches the ball too little. Let's be honest. If Erling Haaland has maybe 30 touches a game instead of 17, he will have a lot more impact outside of his goal scoring. And I think he can still score goals. But that is impossible to do if you don't have the correct team around him. And the team around him is not the correct team. It's just not. You need goals from other sources to take pressure off Haaland as well, I think. Because currently he's under so much pressure as well.
Well, that's the question then. Would you rather you build a team around one player or have that one player play within a system? I know sometimes you mix the two together, Haaland is the system. But like you said, if you don't have Haaland there, you can't play the same football that you normally play. You don't have a Haaland in front of goal. So what do you do then?
I don't want to be limited by one system. I want to play, this is the thing with Haaland as well. Haaland is capable of going down the wings and playing a bit on the wings. He's not great at it, but he's capable of it. So if you allow Haaland to go on the wings, let it get in a cross once in a while, and just play how he wants to play, basically. Let him run at defenses. You can find a striker, a lesser striker, absolutely, but a striker that can do the same job. And we already have him. It's Omar Marmoush. He's not as good a goal scorer. He's maybe better on the wings than Haaland is.
Yes.
But he really does the same things. But whereas Haaland, his strengths are goal scoring, and then maybe going on the wings he's a bit worse at. Marmoush is the opposite. He prefers going down the wings, and he can go down the middle, but he's not as good as Haaland in that. So we have the same type of player who can play together, but they just have their strengths a bit differently. So you can play the same system, I think, and you can play them both together, as long as both of them aren't injured. But then again, you can't say, well, both your strikers are injured. So, well, okay, that can always. Are you going to get by 3, 4 strikers? Like, at some point, it stops. It's like it has to be bad luck, isn't it?
Well, do you think that this is all down to Pepper's for not having a big squad? Because normally you're used to playing with small squads, like 15 players, 16 players. You have your main 11, but every player you bring off the bench is still a great replacement to have. Like, Rodri sub, Gundogan comes on. Grealish off. Yeah, Doku comes on, for example. Haaland comes off. You don't ever want to put on in his place because you sold Alvarez. He was the second striker, effectively. That's what I'm like. So you need to have a second striker for him.
Yeah, but that's Omar Marmoush. Omar Marmoush is that second striker. That's why we bought him. He can play with Haaland, but he's also.
Do you see him playing as a striker? Do you see him playing as a striker, Marmoush?
I
don't see him as a striker.
He's played as a
He'd
striker.
be more on the wing, wouldn't he?
Well, he was a striker for Frankfurt. So I think Marmoush is not as good as a footballer as Alvarez, but I think he's what we wanted Alvarez to be. What we wanted Alvarez to be is a striker that can play with Haaland and for Haaland, if you get what I'm saying. So when Haaland is off the pitch, Alvarez can play as striker. And when Haaland is on the pitch, Alvarez can play on the wings. That didn't work because Alvarez can't do that. I think Alvarez is a better striker than Marmoush, but I think he's less good at being a striker in a team where we have Haaland. And I think Marmoush is better for that specific job. So I don't mind having Marmoush in striker. Obviously, I prefer having Haaland as striker, but we still have 2 strikers who can get goals there. And Marmoush next season should get a bit more rest as well. The only reason he plays as much this season, I think, is because
don't have anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why he plays so much. Next season, both Haaland and Marmoush will have more rest, I believe. They'll rest each other a bit and still be better for it, I think. Because Haaland has played almost every game. He's played every game except once he's injured in. But like, you can't do that multiple seasons in a row.
No,
you need to get rest at some point.
Yeah, you're going to ruin the players, man. Like, you already play enough football as it is throughout the season. You've got 38 league games. You've got cup games. You've got cup competitions as well. You've got internationals that you play for if you're selected to. So, and you got preseason cups and you got, preseason tournament, Club World Cup now happening as well. It's too much shit going on, man. Like, okay, cool. If you want that, cool, no problems. But then we need bigger squads. And
Absolutely.
you can only spend so much money before PSI and all that stuff comes into play. So all right, so we're just supposed to get 11 quality players and then get 11 shit kickers, just fill in a squad type of thing. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to fill in your squad with as many quality players as you can. And if they're going to cost money,
that's a problem Club Brugge has had for a while now, because Club Brugge, we wanted to build a new stadium. We wanted to build a stadium for 15 years. And we kept having the same issue. Oh, you can't get a permit. Flemish government is fucked, by the way. So the Flemish building laws are so stupid. Like, literally, the Flemish economy is absolutely crumbling right now because nobody can start any projects because the laws are so dumb. Like, Club Brugge can't build a stadium. Antwerp can't build a stadium. Anderlecht can't build a new stadium without getting it funded by the federal government first. Nobody can build anything. Culture is dying in Flanders because nobody can build stadiums, but that's a bit besides the point. These projects, they can't get started. Club Brugge has put away 100 million of their budget for 15 years in a row now in order to one day be able to build that stadium if they get the fucking permit. So Club Brugge has 50 million left of their annual budget for transfers then. And then they go out and buy players. They don't have enough to buy good first team and good bench. That's why Club Brugge out bench is nowhere near our first team. That's why we play amazing in Europe and then drop points immediately after. Because, like, if you go through the Belgian league, almost every game where Club Brugge has dropped points is immediately after the Champions League game. It's almost always after Champions League games because we don't have enough money to buy a good starting 11 and a good backup team. And that's the problem with Champions League as well. When people say, "Oh, just buy better players," that works for the top leagues, for the top teams in the top leagues. It doesn't work for Club Brugge, who just financially can't buy two top teams to compete within their own league and the Champions League. So that's a problem that a lot of teams have, I think. And I wanted games to decrease for a while now. They're removing the playoff system, which should remove 6 games from the Belgian league, which I think will be better.
Wait. So you guys have like a league and then like your top 6 goes into like a knockout phase for like the final? Yeah, yes. We have the same thing in Australia. I hate it. I hate that format. I hate it.
And 6 games are being removed now from the Belgian league schedule. So hopefully 6 games, if Club Brugge gets Champions League, for 6 games in Champions League, you get a bit more rest then, hopefully, right? But players need to get rested, and it's not as easy as just go buy more players. Like when people say just buy more players, I understand what you're coming from, but if it was that easy, every club would do it.
Yeah, everything is good when you think about it, but when you actually put it into practice, it's very, very different. Everyone has these things that they want to do, but when it comes to it, when you have to put the money down, when you have to put the work in there, when you have to actually make something of it, a lot of people, it's like, it's too hard, it's going to take too much effort, and they're just not bothered anymore. And then they're going to complain about it at the end of the day again anyways, when it's their own fault for not having done anything in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. And like people just, I feel like people just want things to be simple because, I mean, I'm sorry if this offends anyone who's listening, but people just want things to be simple because they don't want to bother thinking about a practical solution.
Pretty much.
People just want to always simplify things. And like I look at, for example, the manager situation. I look at Pep Guardiola, and Pep in, Pep out, be what you like, yeah? But if you think Pep Guardiola cannot be sacked because he used to be good in previous seasons, that is such a simplification. Like, there's something practical coming from there. If he does not get top 5, like Champions League, top 5 might get Champions League. We don't know yet. If he doesn't get Champions League, Khaldoon likes Pep Guardiola. The rest of the board is a bunch of rich people who want to make money. They're not going to be happy with Pep Guardiola failing to get Champions League after offering him money in the summer and he refused. So they can pin the entire season on Pep. Like, even if you disagree, the board will blame Pep because we gave you money. You said, no, we don't need it. Now you give us a disaster season. You don't get his Champions League. We lose money because of you. Do you think they're going to want to keep him after that? Do you think they want to keep someone like that? Maybe they will give him one chance to go again. Think if he starts next season poorly, they're going to say, okay, Pep, you gave us a disaster season last season. Now this season you're starting poorly, but we love you, so we'll keep you. They're businessmen. They don't have this emotion attached that football fans have. And a lot of people talk about Pep Guardiola being unsackable. Everyone has a breaking point. Even Arsene Wenger was sacked, and Arsene Wenger was unsackable for 20 years.
For me, the whole Pep thing is like, people think, oh, you can't sack him because he's done everything X, Y, Z. But there's always a chance where you do get the sack, even though you've had a good run, you've done everything as best as you can. Because if you drop out of this top 4 finish, let's say I think 5th gets you Champions League in this coming season. But if you finish 5th, you get Champions League. If you don't finish 5th, you finish 6th, for example, that's bad. Yes, you can say we can focus on the league, but Man City playing Europa League, it just doesn't sound right. There's
Oh,
not the same money in that. So are they going to be looking at that and saying, all right, cool, you have another year to fix this up, win this, get back in there, or do something about it? And are they going to be saying win a Premier League, or are they going to be saying win Europa League, get back into Champions League one way or another, and then go again the following year? Because the Premier League, as good as it is, I think Champions League is where they really want to see themselves succeed.
this is a great comment, by the way, by Das Silt. Club Brugge has about the same budget as the rest of the teams in the Premier League. Like, Club Brugge has a bit more, but relatively speaking, it's about the same. Meanwhile, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, the top teams in the Premier League, top teams in La Liga, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, have way more money than the teams they compete in domestically. So for teams like Real Madrid, you've got so much more money than, say, Rayo Vallecano. You can buy a first team, and you can buy worse players on your bench and get away with playing them in your league. But like if Club Brugge buys players for their first team, the second team players have to be close to that same level because the drop-off is way less in the Belgian league. And that's just financially impossible. It's like asking to buy your first team twice, basically, with the same budget. It doesn't really work. And I think that's a really good point. It's the difference in money in the top teams in the top leagues compared to the other teams in those leagues is immense. And people don't want to talk about it. People say, well, it's how you spend the money. Sure, that matters to a degree, but at the end of the day, football has always been won by the teams with money. I can prove that. Like I've gone through this before. I've gone through absolute rants on this. And if you don't mind, I can go on another rant about that to close off on maybe. Shall we?
Yeah, you need money. Everyone needs money to win things, brother. I'm sick of this thing. Like, okay, you might have the odd once in a lifetime situation like Leicester from a few years ago, who saw Leicester winning a Premier League in that season there. But then you also have teams of the past, like, sometimes just playing resolute football, like Bayer Leverkusen. Like, let's not say the Bundesliga like doesn't have money. I'm sure they have money, but
Leverkusen has been a top spender in Bundesliga for quite a while. They had one bad
have
season.
they?
Yeah, they had one bad
Okay.
season. Normally they are in Champions League spots anyways.
All right, so maybe that's my ignorance on the Bundesliga, because I'm thinking Bayern Munich just win non-stop and every other team, have like the top team and everyone else is like below them, like PSG, and then everyone else is below them, sort of a thing. So you might have a season where a team comes out of nowhere and the coaching is great, the management is great, the players know their deal, everything just works for them.
Start Brest. That's a better example than Leverkusen, I think, because Brest is not expanded like Leverkusen is.
Yeah, so like sometimes you have teams who just actually do play good football. Everything just works for them, and they haven't spent the money there. And then other times you spend the money, and then you get the players, but it sometimes doesn't always work out, man. It's that's why when people say, "I'll just spend the money," just spend the money. It's not always just spending the money. It's spending the right money and spending money on the right people as well. Yeah, it's not just splash the cash on whoever. Like everyone's going on about Ousmane Dembele now.
You also have to pay wages, by the way. A lot of people ignore wages.
Transfer fee, wages as well. Can you afford to pay, 200 grand a week to them or whatever it is? That's going to come to like, multiple millions a year, for example. Are you making that much money? You think they're going to bring that revenue to your club? Are they going to sell jerseys? Are they going to sell merchandise? Are people going to be there advertising? Are they going to be sponsored and all that sort of things there? People don't take these things into effect. They think, yeah, just pay the 100 mil and bring them over. But it's not just 100 mil. You got to spend money after that and pay these people week in, week out. That's the part people forget.
And I bring up wages as well, yeah, because I look at Athletic Bilbao, and people are like, oh, Athletic Bilbao, they don't spend a lot of money on transfers. You sure about that? Athletic Bilbao has
surely
ridiculous. Athletic Bilbao has ridiculous wage structures. So they pay less in transfers prices. That's because they only buy players from the Basque region. Athletic Bilbao only has players from the Basque region. I believe their managers are only from Basque region as well, by the way. I'm not sure about that, but their players only Basque. And they keep the best Basque players in the world consistently because they give them ridiculous wages. Do you know how much Nico and Inaki William are on?
They're not on a lot of money, are they? They're on like
50. 300K.
Sorry, what?
Athletic Bilbao is I think Nico Williams is on more. I think Nico Williams is 300k, Inaki Williams maybe 200k. I'm not sure how much Inaki is on, but that's how much they get. Athletic Bilbao spends less on transfers, like on transfer fees, so they can pay more in wages. They pay ridiculous amounts of money in wages to keep the best Basque players. All the best Basque region players play for Athletic Bilbao because they pay too much money for them to leave. Do you think Nico
Wow.
Williams is getting 300k if he goes to Arsenal?
No, I just saw that now. He's getting 200,000 euros a week. That's crazy.
Yeah, or 200k. I must have been wrong then.
Yeah, but
He's
still,
not getting
it
that
might be
hard.
like pounds. But like, bro, at a club like really at Athletic, wow, for a 22-year-old as well, you know.
And you have to look at Athletic Bilbao's like transfer stand. Like, oh yeah, they don't spend a lot of money in transfer windows, but they have ridiculous wages, bro. They have ridiculous wages. That's how they keep their good players. And they sell off players for relatively cheap, by the way. If they have a player that's not good enough, they will sell him off relatively cheap, not to get money in from him, but to get him off the wage bill. Because then other teams will be willing to pay bigger wages if they sell them for cheap. Athletic Bilbao is an incredibly well-run team, and it's incredibly smart with their finances. Now, they only do that because they want to be Basque region only, but their management is really good.
Maybe they keep the players from their region. Yeah, we'll pay you more to keep you here, sort of a thing. So why would they go somewhere else if they're getting paid all this money here? Unless they actually do have a drive and ambition to go and win something elsewhere. But then again, are other clubs going to be paying, release fee or transfer fee, and then saying, yeah, we'll give you 250 grand a week, for example?
But that's the thing, though. Athletic Bilbao has won a trophy in every decade of Spanish football. So if you grow up in Bilbao, or if you grow up in just the Basque region in general, you are dreaming of playing for Athletic Bilbao. That is the dream. It's not to play for Real Madrid. It's not to play for Barcelona. It's not to play for Man City, Liverpool. It's to play for Athletic Bilbao and win a trophy with Athletic Bilbao. That's a dream for these kids. So they're living their dream. They're getting the most money they can. And if they win a trophy with Athletic Bilbao, that's going to mean more for them than to win a trophy with, I don't know, some random team in Germany that they've barely watched.
It's their home team. It's their home club. It's the team that they grew up around. It's the team that they want to play for. That's what it is.
It's very special. Everyone there is the same as you. Everyone is Basque there.
Yeah, holding your players near and dear to you, like not having to move on. So yeah, maybe there's less reason for them to move on if that's the case. Maybe they want to stay there and make something happen and build something there instead of moving to another bigger club. But again, it depends. Are they going to get you what you want in terms of ambition, and trophies and whatnot, or are you just happy to play for the club there? Maybe win something, maybe you don't, but you're making good money doing it at the same time. Football is ambitions, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. Like the thing is that ambition is so loose as a word. It's like, what is more ambitious? Wanting to win La Liga with Athletic Bilbao, or wanting to win the Champions League with Real Madrid? What's more ambitious?
Yeah.
You can say maybe more realistic to win Champions League with Real Madrid.
100%. Yeah. Ambitious would be the league with Athletic Bilbao. Yeah. That's an ambition there to make it happen, to make it your thing. But
Athletic Bilbao, not a single player who plays for Athletic Bilbao has ever seen that team win the league title. They were in a title race, a 4-way title race, by the way. When's the last time you saw that in the Premier League? Until late February. So these are players who have already proven they can win a cup, they can go into these title races. These are players who are also young. They have a very young team. Now let's say you grow up with each other, you have great chemistry with each other, you continue to improve as players as you grow older. These are I would not be surprised if Athletic Bilbao win a league title in the next 6 years. They have to do it in the next 6 years, I think. But if they win a league title within the next 6 years, I will not be surprised. Because I think they generally have a good group of players who can make that happen. And they're not going to move elsewhere. They're just not. They don't want to.
As long as they keep him as well, as long as they keep him around, that would be the thing for me.
Big up Rishi. Yo, will be going wild in the markets. I hope so. I hope so. There's so much news about Kamavinga and Words right now, which obviously transfer news in March is quite conspicuous, but Kamavinga is such a weird link, by the way. Like, I don't know why we would want Kamavinga. We already bought Nico Gonzalez for the same position. We need an 8, we need a 10. Depending on how many wingers we sell, we might need a winger. We need a right back. We probably need a left back. So there's like 5 positions I'd rather want than a defensive midfielder. Kamavinga seems a bit weird to me. I would not be upset if we got him. I would like Kamavinga, but it just doesn't look like we need him right now. Like there's other priorities.
I thought you'd be looking at Florian Wirtz, for example. I've seen him being, rumored around. You guys might be going for him in the summer.
I hope we get Florian Wirtz because obviously being half German, half Belgian, I grew up watching De Bruyne be great for the Belgium. Watching Florian Wirtz play for the Belgium, it's like Germany, sorry. It's like the same feeling as watching De Bruyne play for the Belgium. That is so similar. De Bruyne obviously better, but Florian Wirtz is quite a bit younger as well. So how old is Florian Wirtz now? 21, 22?
I think it's 21.
I think you're right. Let me check that. Wirtz.
I think he's 21.
Yeah, he's 21.
21, yeah, okay. Yeah. So still a young man. But again, how much money are you prepared to spend on Florian Wirtz to
Well,
Leverkusen
they want
as well?
Bayer Leverkusen wants McAtee as the Florian Wirtz replacement. And McAtee plays for us. So if we give
player cash.
Yeah.
I think you trade. I think it's going to be cash plus player, to be honest with you, man. I don't think they're going to say it's like as talented as McAtee may be at the
we'll
moment.
obviously have to pay money, but if we want to get Florian Wirtz, we'll get him cheaper than like if Liverpool want him. Does Liverpool need a 10 right now?
Because
what are your concerns right now at Liverpool for transfers?
Centre backs, left backs, right backs. Probably another DM, striker maybe, because Grav has been good, but we don't have actual replacement like number 10, number 8, and that sort of thing there. I don't think we play that way anyways. But bro, ideally, if we had 3 players come in winter, in the January transfer window, if we got like a left back, that could probably even rotate on right back. If we got like another center back and a striker, I think I would have been happy with that. But didn't do it. We're waiting for summer now. And my only thing is, if you have to replace players leaving with more players, then you have to replace them after that. So you're not just bringing new players to the squad, you're also bringing players, you're replacing and adding more. So there's more work involved, which shit takes longer to get together. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, and like this is the thing, no matter how much money you have, there is a limit to how many players you can buy in a single summer, because you have to get the deals over the line. Like, it's not just about having money. You have to spend time getting deals over the line, negotiating and stuff. So there's a limit to how many players you can buy in a single summer. Like, even completely ignoring FFP and financial stuff. So I think Liverpool just can't buy all the players they need in a single summer. I think they should have bought in January to ease the pressure away from that summer. And we should have done the same. And out summer, we should have bought in the summer and then bought again in January, and then we could finalize everything in the upcoming summer, and then we will have done our rebuild without a massive drop off.
Well, I was gonna say, because I've got to head off now, but I was having a chat with Vader, if you know Vader Games, Man City fan, and I was asking him. I said, so he's sometimes on like the Football Terrorists. He's on like American Waffle and stuff like that. So so he's on this sometimes. He's a Man City fan. I say he's very shameless. I'll say that. But I asked him. I said, like, do you think Pep bought players in January out of necessity to secure a top 4 finish, or is it to get players in now, maybe finish top 4, and then have something to go off in the summer? What do you think it is for you?
Honestly, I don't know anymore with this club. I don't know anymore with this club. That might be a boring answer, but that's just me being honest. I don't know. I really don't. Like I could just do guesswork here, but like I'd probably be wrong. Thing is with Man City, we just need to get this season done because the fan base is in meltdown perpetually. I myself included, but perpetually we are in meltdown. We just need to get top 4, win the FA Cup hopefully, and get the season done with. Because if we can scam an FA Cup and get top 4, that is honestly so much better than anything you could have expected as January, or maybe late December. So I just want this season to end a bit with semblance of dignity. That's all. And then next season, I'll worry about that when we get into the summer, really.
Yeah, once the season's done and dusted, then you can reset, start again, and then look ahead to the new one, new styles of play, new players coming in there, trying to adapt and bring different ideas in, and everyone's going to be the same as well. You think other teams are going to be looking to improve their fortunes too? Obviously, we'll be looking. Arsenal would be looking. Yeah, Chelsea, United, depending on what happens in their season there. So. Yeah, everyone will be looking to improve their squads and have a better season next year. But yeah, that's like I said, next season's problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shouldn't have been, to be honest. We should have taken care of this before. But I mean, we can keep talking about that all season, can't we? We've talked about that all season now. We are better than United at least. Even in our worst season, we're better than Man United. Not that it means a lot,
so. Well, hey, it still means something, bro. It's still something you can hang on to and work off, bro. You can still leave with a trophy.
25-year-old, this is about to shatter your mind. A 25-year-old who started watching football at 5 years old has seen Man City win more league titles than Man United.
Yo, that's crazy. When you put in the context now, that sounds actually crazy, man. In the last 10 years, 20 years.
Man City is becoming one of the biggest teams in England. Like if you look at the perspective of the young people who are now becoming adults, Man City is the biggest team in England from their perspective.
Yeah.
Because
I get what you're saying.
We like to think from our perspective. We lived before, we watched football before like Man City was massive, but the younger people coming up didn't. So from their perspective, it's always been City as massive. I think a lot of people forget that. Anyhow, thank you for coming on as always. Go check out the next channel. It's over here in the pinned message from Dasilt. Big up to Dasilt. Big up to Nick.
Big ups.
Go check out the channel. It recently got to 3K, I saw. So
I need to make a little stream about that. Yeah, it's mad. You talk about things outside of football and people get more engaged on it. It's crazy, man. But I suppose you just give the people what they want, man.
You need to give people some entertainment. You got to do a show, But people like personality, I think. When they use watch-alongs, I think like watch-along channels, like fan channels, I think people like personality a lot. So even if you talk,
I've said the same thing. I can you can be a Man U supporter, like Said, for example. The guy's a Man U supporter. He's drinking rival tears on stream. Liverpool, haha. I'm like, bro, your team's in 14. Have some shame. But the guy's got a personality, so you keep watching because he's fun to watch on camera. If you have personality, it goes a long way. You can disagree with somebody wholeheartedly on everything, but if they've got a personality, you can at least get along and at least enjoy it. That's what I always say. Have a personality. That way, you always have people that want to actually hear what you have to say.
I agree completely on that, and I think that's why people tend to subscribe when you don't talk about football, because they actually get a chance to see your personality when you do that.
Yeah, outside of football, have a chat about different things. You have different conversations. It's a good thing to have, man. It shows you're not just about the football. There's other things to you as well.
It shows that you care about the channel and that you're not just doing the channel to get like attention as well, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, more things.
If you only talk about football, it shows that you don't really care that much, I think. Because in a way, if you only talk about football, it shows that you're like only there to get your attention on football, and then you go away again. I don't know if you agree with that. Big up to AK for Pete. I've not seen you in a while. Big up, welcome back, I suppose. But we were about to round up, so we're going to redirect to True City fans. So Alfred in chat, and big up to Nick as well. Big up to Nick. Subscribe to him if you haven't already.